welcome on back, everybody, to Loki episode 2. Heavy spoilers for today because I just want to establish that I was right.
I don't know.
I was!
We'll talk about it in a bit.
Okay, alright. So, we start off, the episode starts off in Wisconsin, 1985, at a medieval festival, or what are those called? What's the actual...
Renaissance fairs.
Yeah, the Renaissance Fair. I couldn't remember that. To save my life. So yeah, we start there. We see the Minutemen deployed. It was a trap because it was Loki. Loki always sets traps, and we get to see mind control or enchantment. That's what he says. So yeah.
Or yeah, that scene also where he's like, it's a duplicate spell.
Yeah. So yeah, and then quickly from there, we've got Loki being quizzed on on like the TVA stuff with Miss Minute, who is a recording and alive all at the same time. And then we kind of also go over like the different variations of Loki and what his powers are. Yeah, there were 5 that they showed, but each Loki is unique and different in each timeline. So there was one that was specifically a frost giant. There was one that was just a soccer player. Like, that was so random. One that kind of looked like the Hulk in a way. That's what I just. It's like a big old troll. There was one where it was like, I'm guessing it was closer to the Norse mythology, where he kind of looked like a goat. He actually had like the horns. Like, and then there was one with like just a big helmet. That's what I called it, a big helmet.
Big helmet.
Because he had a big helmet, went over his eyes, and just like the last 2 were kind of similar. We also went over the difference between when Loki puts up an illusion and duplicates himself, which I think you mentioned, but yeah. We also get we get an explanation as why the TVA can't go back and like save all the people who evil Loki kills, which is
the red line energies.
Yeah, and you don't want to go back on a timeline that's still kind of forming and stuff because it's got to grow, and so that's why you just reset it. Yeah, the reset that kind of explains the reset grenade. Throughout this whole thing, the evil Loki has been stealing all the reset grenades, so that'll come into play. C-20, the captain, is stolen, or is kidnapped, not stolen. She's not an object.
Are you sure about that?
So, yeah, and we kind of see that Loki tries to be like a detective, and I thought he was gonna like have this like master plan, like he's gonna be like, well, clearly it's this, and this, and then he was actually just stalling for time, which is so Loki, and it's hilarious. Yeah, and then a lot of the rest of the episode, just kind of a lot of talking and explanation and theorizing. Do you have anything to say before?
Well, you see a lot of Loki's actual like genius because they keep like quizzing him and he's like kind of fooling around with them, but like he actually knows what he was supposed to be learning from videos.
Yeah.
And you also see like his genius when he's figuring out because he figured out the apocalypse, which is a cool idea. That a variant could be hiding in the apocalypse because there's no variance energy.
It actually makes a lot of logical sense.
Yeah.
Like, outside of the MCU and stuff, like that would, if you were a time traveler hiding right before an apocalyptic event, like they go to Pompeii, 79 AD.
Yeah.
And Loki messes around, and I thought at one point they were gonna take like a picture of Loki with, because that's kind of how it looked in the trailers. It was him like posing.
Yeah.
Like all these. But yeah, it's really interesting. theory there. We get to talk about a jet ski. I feel like that magazine is gonna mean
Yeah,
something
Owen
more.
Wilson on a jet ski.
I feel like that's gonna be something.
It's 100% gonna be something in a timeline where like, because we see Owen Wilson, this episode, you see that he kind of establishes himself as like dominant.
Wow, you're so dominant.
When we see Loki a lot, he's the trickster, so he's always a couple steps. And then you see in this episode, Owen Wilson's like, "Yeah, fuck you, I'm a step ahead."
Yeah, you're gonna overthrow the TVA. I know.
And also, speaking of TVA, that scene where Owen Wilson's talking to the judge, and he's like, "I've never met the time, so I wouldn't know." It's kind of a nod. I think that's probably going to end up being something.
Yeah, I
'Cause
actually wrote down. I don't know if they exist. They
Yeah,
might just
that's
be-
what I was thinking. I don't think they exist. And we also see at the beginning of this episode, he kind of gives Loki a little bait by saying, maybe you get an audience with the time, because he keeps just playing Loki.
Yeah, he's trying to get Loki motivated to solve this case through either demeaning him or trying to give him a goal. So that's cool. But
I think we get deeper into it with prediction.
Yeah. So we can get like you said. At one point they were mentioning how Loki was a scared little boy, and then I kind of thought that might go into Kid Loki.
Dude, same thing. I was literally like, he's on stilts. It's Kid Loki.
I was like, yo.
That'd be awesome.
But from there we see the kablooey again, which was the like candy that turned your teeth blue in the very first episode. Takes us back to Alabama it takes us to Alabama 2050
in the future.
Yes.
It was so funny when we're reading out all the apocalyptic events. 2045 tsunami. They're like 2045 again. Tornado.
I'm over here like, oh no, y'all better not be actually calling. But yeah, and then we get Loki talking with Loki or Randy at one point. I don't know if that's gonna be a continual thing, but
the variant.
Talk about the overthrowing the keepers, which they probably don't exist, but we kind of get that motivate. I feel like Loki's just making stuff up as he goes at this point.
Yeah, and the variant kind of is like, I don't really care.
Yeah. And then we see how much they don't care because they bomb the sacred timeline, basically setting each reset grenade to a different point in time all at the same time, which just splinters that thing off.
And we see at the end like the timeline. Fuck.
Like everybody monitoring it, it's just like, oh,
Pressing.
throwing papers around and then we actually get to see our evil Loki.
And
guess who called it? I called it. It's your boy.
Predictions. I got a little.
But I did.
We'll see. We'll talk about it. Let's go to the break.
Okay, both Lokis eventually dip, so Loki is not part of the TVA at the moment. So
yeah, so our Loki follows the other variant through
a time door and stuff.
Yeah.
So both are now on the run. So that'll be interesting. All right. So review. I liked it. I was thoroughly enjoying it. Even the more kind of slow parts, I still wanted there to be more, and I actually liked it. So.
I felt like it was just it kept building up to like
exactly.
Like I like when he keeps figuring stuff out, and it feels like they just keep picking up momentum.
Yeah. So, upon our beautiful scale, which we're now gonna just keep throwing in because dude, that scene cracked me up so much. It's late. I did make it, but we're gonna take that late hour spent. It's down here to remind everybody, and I think I'm gonna put this episode at an 8.
8. Okay, I respect it.
A higher 8.
This might be an 8.5 for me. I really I felt like it just kept going and rolling.
So
this bigger issue.
good stuff. Good stuff. All right, get down there, Scale. I don't need you.
He just slapped it, dude. He just hurt Barry, bro. Barry and I was crying.
Good. Predictions.
Predictions. So we see at the very end, the variant is a lady. You think Lady Loki.
It is.
She's wearing the horns, I get it. Here's my welcome to my TED Talk.
No.
This is not Lady Loki. This is a character called Sylvie from Young Avengers. Sylvie. So this whole episode, the lady's like, don't call me Loki. I hate that name. You may be like, well, Loki loves his name so much. Why would he ever do that?
Okay,
I like
all right.
And he's like, I would never hurt myself like this. Well, this lady's beating his ass.
Yeah.
And then at the end credits for the foreign voice actors, I wasn't the one to discover it. I'll pop up on the screen like the tweet I saw. It says it lists the people voice acting, and one is, instead of, most of them call the variant's voice actor. One of them calls, I forget what language, is Sylvie. Sylvie, a character from Young Avengers, is a character from Oklahoma. Call back to episode 1. Who is convinced by Loki that she is a refugee Asgardian, and Loki gives her the same powers that he had. She's a character called the Enchantress, who's on the Young Avengers.
Is it a different Enchantress?
What do you
The
mean?
second one? Because there's like the Enchantress that messes with Thor all the time. Or
I don't. It's the Enchantress from the Young Avengers.
okay.
And she's usually seen with two characters we got in a different series, Wiccan and Speed, which makes it interesting. And also, Lady Loki's not usually blonde.
True.
Sylvie's
okay.
a blonde.
All right. Okay.
Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. It's an interesting theory. Because I think they're going to keep upsetting these Young Avengers. We're going to get Kate Bishop. We already got Wiccan and Speed. We get Sylvie. We're building up a team, and of course we're gonna get Cassie Lang. I don't know. We'll see. We'll piece it together.
All right. That's pretty solid. But okay, then I'm 50% right in the fact that
It's a lady.
Yeah.
I hope we do get like the classic Lady Loki. That's like that looks like Hello.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I was also thinking to myself after we finished filming the other episode that Kid Loki did join the Young Avengers at one point, or was part of it, or like the newer iteration. So I was like, oh, that's another character that they could add to the Young Avengers. But yeah, no, that's all right. Solid. All right.
And then, do you want to talk about the timekeepers? Sure, we have.
Yeah. So, wow, we're at 14 minutes. We're killing it. Nice. Timekeepers. I don't think they exist, or if they do, they're just trying to be like really lame, like take away free will. I feel like there might be something nefarious, and I kind of started getting this idea after I watched Mr. Sunday Movies video on the first episode of Loki, and that kind of made sense. Where it's like, I just think there might be something more happening here.
There's something definitely off of it.
Yeah.
No one's met them. They always stay in the room.
Yeah, there's definitely something suspicious there. So I also think that now that we've got all these timelines forming, this gives us a chance for what if to happen. So I think, or this gives a natural lead in
Spider-Man
for Spider-Man 2 as well. For Spider-Man as well. And
drop the trailer.
Doctor Strange dropped the trailer. Working theory that we came up with was July 9th, that being Black Widow's release date. So, yeah. Pretty much I just think that this opens up. I don't think the timeline will ever go back to being exactly the same.
Yeah, for sure. I think TVA is shut down by the end. I don't think there's... I think like Owen Wilson's. That last scene is gonna be Owen Wilson and Loki on one jet ski together, going off to the side.
I definitely think that that this opens up the multiverse at this point. So I think Loki is actually quite important, because that's what Kevin Feige was saying, that this was going to be the most like important of the original trilogy of Disney Plus series.
Yeah, it's going to have the biggest impact on the MCU.
Yeah. So
and also play the scene where I say I don't think this series will have an impact on the MCU. Because, like, let's be honest, like, none of it really matters.
So that's pretty much this episode. It's really good. Thoroughly enjoying it. I'm enjoying it more than Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I'm gonna be honest here. WandaVision is still currently my favorite, and I love Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but it's just this one's far more interesting. I think since it's.
I mean, the sad thing is we're only getting 6 episodes for this, and that's the price. That's just straight to.
Yeah, so we're pretty much halfway there by next week. All right. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. I'm August, and that's Cole. I don't know why I did that outro, but I feel like we need to have something.
They're just like, these are the 2 nerds we just go watch. We don't.
Yeah, I'm experimenting, seeing what flows just right. But yeah. All right. I'm just gonna do a lazy slap at my camera. We'll do that callback. Yeah.